Hello everybody and welcome. Tonight I'm going to be doing something a little different. I am going to be looking into what you need to heal in order to move forward. Shout out to Jess for this wonderful idea earlier tonight. Alright, let's get into it. Alright. What does the collective need to heal in order to move forward? Well, that's like 5 cards, not doing all that. Alright, I'm gonna read from the book for these because I'm not entirely familiar with this deck just yet. Alright, let's see. Alright, so here we have women supporting women. Together we can transcend our individual limitations. Card number 22. Women who share their weakness, struggles, and shame, as well as their joy, victories, and opportunities, support each other's life journey. Together, women have the potential to strengthen each other in overcoming challenges and to rise much higher than is individually possible. By sharing one another's lives, we come to know ourselves. We experience what is to see and be seen, to speak and be heard, to understand and be understood, and this evolves us. When people connected to their divine inner feminine bear witness, nurture, and support one another, mutual love and raised frequency occurs. The divine feminine consciousness connects and supports us in realizing our fullest potential, power, and wisdom. In each other, we see what is possible when we do not go at life alone in silence or against each other. When we realize that we are not alone or judged in our greatness, in our greatest vulnerability, hurts, and confusion, we heal. Women who have walked parallel paths know how to create this regenerative space. Life changes the second we are gifted with an experience of there being nothing to be ashamed of, but only pain to be released, witnessed, healed, and moved on from. Women supporting women potentially offers this life-changing moment when they hold loving space and support in response to an individual unburdening herself of a shame-filled secret. Therefore, the potential loving safety generated by women supporting women nurtures and nourishes our spirit as well as enriches our lives. It may be time to reach out to the safe women in your life. It could also be time to explore your local community to discover where individuals connected to their divine feminine gather, or perhaps even organize your own circle at a park, cafe, or home through a meetup group, or making a poster for your local community center or library notice board. Mother's message. In empowering one another, we empower ourselves. Alright, so, I mean, it's kind of obvious with the picture, you know. women supporting women together, we can transcend our individual limitations. There's a lot here about like sharing with another individual. And again, well, not again because I never said this, but this is a maiden mother crone deck, so this is all focused really like on, there's a lot of feminine figures and a lot speaking to women, but that doesn't necessarily mean like who you have to go to is a woman, you know, just anybody that makes you feel heard, that, you know, doesn't make you feel judged when you're vulnerable and you open up, right? So that way, you know, that will create a safe space for you to let go of these things and the negativity that they make you feel, and to help you realize like you're not alone, like people care. You know, the support that you get from those around you can really help you transcend your individual limitations. And you know that, like it said in the description here, you know, you don't even have to belong to a group or whatever already. If you don't, go out and find one. All right. And then we have here the key to intimacy. Regardless of whether we have received unconditional love while growing up, coming to know and accept ourselves in such a manner is challenging. Unconditional self-love is necessary, and there is a learning curve for being able to allow another to see into us and accept all that we are and are not. This includes our most raw and least flattering shades. We all have them. It is desirable but not easy to let a deserving other into our lives deep enough to know our full spectrum. Once we can know, accept, and love all of who and what we are, we become fully available for another to accept the totality of us too. It also builds in us the strength and integrity to walk away from those who cannot genuinely respect or accept us, rather than internalizing their judgment, rejection, or desire to change certain parts of us. Developing the capacity to honor and care for ourselves despite our flaws and shortcomings also equips us to hold loving space for others without judgment, conditions, control, or petty rejection. The journey to self-intimacy further teaches us the value and beauty of our flaws. We learn to recognize any challenge that tests the intimate space we share with another as an opportunity to grow closer and stronger from working through it together. The purpose of obstacles is not to create distance or to stop us, but to enrich, further connect, and expand us. Intimacy is as much about accepting each other's differences, struggles, and uniqueness as it is about respecting one another's boundaries. The key to intimacy with another leads to knowing, valuing, and supporting each other's paths. While it is necessary for our paths to parallel and be faced in the same direction, it is essential for them not to enmesh. Be careful to whom you trust the key for your heart. The featured mother wishes to remind you that pure love, respect, and integrity use what is uncovered to lift, support, protect, care about, and empower you. In any instance that a person should prove unworthy of the key you have entrusted them with by using it for anything untoward, change the lock. It is never okay to have this sacred trust disrespected or abused. You always hold the right to take back your power. The same holds with you in regard to another's trust. Be equally honorable to and respectful of how you treat any key given to you. If you ever need to hand a key back, do so. In respect of the intimacy you had once shared with this individual, continue to manage with integrity and discretion what was exposed in trust to you. Mother's message. To see into yourself with the eyes of love allows for another to see unconditionally into you too. Of equal importance is that it, in turn, allows you to lovingly see others this way. Now, this really reminds me of that saying, you know, where it's like, you can only meet another person as far as, or as deep as they've met themselves, right? And, that goes for other people with you as well. It's a two-way street. And here, I see just like in general here, there's a lot about like you and other people, right? Trust, being able to be vulnerable, open with every aspect of you. And this card more specifically speaks to knowing yourself enough to accept those parts of you and then be open and vulnerable with them, with another, so they can also, as you would want to get to know the whole of another person, they can then get to know the whole of you. This is one of my most favorite decks, and I'm glad that I found like something, a reading to really properly like utilize them in their message. All right, now we have emotional energy. Excuse me. Emotion is energy. Each emotion vibrates somewhere different along the spectrum of high to low frequency. The positive emotions have a higher energetic frequency, and they are light and vibrant. The uncomfortable or negative emotions have a slower energetic frequency. They are denser and therefore heavier. Calm is neutral and located at the center of the spectrum. It is our optimal homeostatic setting and the equilibrium to which our bodies seek to return in response to any deviation. Uncomfortable emotions that we neglect can potentially result in unhealthy suppression or outbursts of reactive behavior and thoughts that take us in circles that spiral downward. These are the frequent and unfortunate consequences to inaccurately thinking that some emotions are bad, wrong, or without value. Knowing how our emotional life either propels us forward, sets us off course, or becomes a stagnating force is integral to learning how to use them for empowerment. Emotions are, by nature's design, our necessary frontier allies. Their roles are to assist us in surviving and thriving. However, until we work effectively with them, the second remains an unrealized potential. The messages our emotions communicate to us are important and worthy of being made a priority. They are the body's, which is part of the unconscious, way of talking to you. When we adequately engage with our emotions, they can function as the keys that revitalize the healthy flow of our vital life force. It is when we neglect how we feel that emotions become the oppressive confusion and inaction that suspends us. Our emotions and their stories require us to know them so that we understand their context. Knowing the meaning and significance that each emotion's backstory holds is necessary for deciphering the coded language that they speak and the core needs to be met in our present. Essentially, emotions are the gateway to our inner child. They need our time, patience, and adequate caretaking to work their alchemy in our life. If you are not yet particularly attuned to your emotions, now is the time to become so. Start by frequently checking in with how you feel and making a note of it in your journal at least 3 times a day. Include notes on what you are doing, what you are thinking, your location, and the individuals in your company. After a week of recording those aspects, look at your answers. Color code your emotions to notice the patterns and themes. Take the dominant emotions that you have experienced over the week and invite it to write you a letter. Place the hand that you do not write with over your heart and jot down what the emotion has to say. Then write a letter back with compassion and gratitude toward the message the emotion has given you. Then you may also wish to write a letter to a desired emotion that is either absent or was not as dominant in your week as you would have liked. Once this is done, have it write you a letter back. To feel the full potential that emotions have to transform the way you experience life, make this journal exercise a regular and ongoing practice. The featured guardian's emotional maturity shines from her as white light. She has learned to master her emotions by creatively directing their energy into realizing her desire. She has shown up to assure you that your emotions will work in your favor once you become aware of and respond appropriately to their true message. Guardian's message. Shooting the emotional messengers for containing news that you do not like or want is as effective as shooting yourself in the foot over the need for a new pair of shoes. The job of emotions is to help you to navigate your way safely and successfully through life. Let them. I feel like this message, in conjunction with the others, like really getting to know yourself like intimately, and then being, secure enough to be that vulnerable and like share that with somebody else. Ooh, keep hitting this darn table. It really creates that kind of like release that I kind of like get in this picture here, like that white light coming from her heart and then everything else like flowing behind her like that. Like unburdening yourself as such is very empowering, and really understanding your emotions makes them easier to release if or when necessary, right? To really be able to let them out, whether alone or with others, is really kind of essential, because when emotions get stagnant, that creates stagnancy in other areas of your life. So like you really want to be able to let all of that flow, and in order to how to let that flow, you need to understand the core of that emotion, where it's coming from, how is it going to affect you, where is it going to affect you, right? And now, interestingly enough, at the bottom of the deck we have sharing. Let's see, there is giving and receiving and giving. All right, let's look that one up really quick. While solitude is necessary at times, our lives also need to be shared for sustainable and healthy living as well as growth. The true sharing of ourselves does not take anything away from us. It's not about giving all that we have. It does not come from a place of fear or lack or a bartering mindset. We freely offer what we have from a place of abundant love and a sense of completeness. True receiving is from this state too. Our spirit self opens in communion with those who are safe and of a pure heart. Those who are not are individuals who require our discernment and refrain when sharing. To discriminate between who and what enhances or depletes our energy is necessary. If there's a constant feeling that something is not right or does not make sense, then it probably is not the right choice for us to continue engaging with that person, group, or organization. It is okay to take time to find and gradually get to know our circle of transparent and trustworthy people. Those who we could feel safe and comfortable enough with to open to cannot be forced or accumulated in a rush. It is okay to ask when unsure whether something unspoken is expected in return for receiving what seems to be freely given. True sharing is transparent and expects no form of payment in exchange. Whether others give back of their own volition is irrelevant to individuals who are not motivated by giving in order to get. The giving and receiving through knowing others and being known is the greatest sharing of all. There is much empowering value in truly seeing and being seen, hearing and being heard, and loving and being loved by one's circle. Shared experiences can heal and support us in all facets of life. Together, we can become more of who we are. We are exponentially enhanced by the diversity of experience and multiple perspectives when we are in good and genuine company. When our presence, willingness, wisdom, and abundance is mutually brought to the table, we grow in ways that are inaccessible to us when alone. The featured women encourage you to look at where sharing is and is not in your life. Where does it feel good and where does it not? With whom do you share of yourself? Where do you hold back and why? If it is for a good reason, excellent. If not, it might be worth test sharing something with the safest people in your life who you enjoy being around. If you are a talker but not a giver, really explore the reasons why you do not reciprocate. Is there a specific fear that you can identify or something to lose at stake? Be kind and compassionate with why you believe that you have nothing to give. When you are ready, challenge the validity of this limiting belief thwarting you. Sharing need not involve anything material. It could be a walk with someone, your time, a smile, or a conversation. Guardian's message. Giving and receiving within your circle magnifies the energy, growth, and love in your life. Now you see a pattern that I see here is the involvement of other people, sharing of yourself with other people, and how that makes you feel, right? Like how it just said in this card, to really sort of examine, who you feel safe sharing around and who you do not feel safe sharing around, whether it's an individual, group, what have you. It's important to understand, why you don't feel safe sharing with this individual and why you do feel safe sharing with this other individual. And it goes back to, the emotional energy card, really understanding why you are feeling what you're feeling and where it's coming from, where it's going to affect you, where it is currently affecting you. It's kind of like a web in a sense. But there is a lot about support and sharing and having a group, and I get that you're probably the kind of person who feels safer alone, especially when it comes to like feeling or expressing feelings. Like you don't really prefer to share with other people, and that's perfectly valid. But at a certain point, it will really benefit you to open up and share with others, find people, whether it's an individual or a group, someone somewhere that you feel safe enough to really like express those emotions genuinely. And also, like in this sharing card, there's power, there's giving and receiving and giving. Like that sharing, right? It brings you more deeply connected with the individual that you share with, because at the same time, your vulnerability has a high potential to really make them then feel comfortable being vulnerable, whether it has to do with the feelings or the subject that you're speaking of, or with something else. Your opening up and being vulnerable can really cause somebody else who's also probably been a bit blocked off like that to also open up and be vulnerable with you. And honestly, that's a beautiful thing. That really, excuse me, like a deepening of a connection in that sense is really true, really genuine. And nowadays there are a lot of relationships that are like, when it comes to reciprocation, people are more so speaking about like money or material, not so much like emotional. And honestly, there's not even a lot of people that are in touch with their own emotional self. So to be able to like really get to know somebody is sort of difficult. And it's understandable, because I feel like, in order to really become an adult in America, right, you really have gone through some stuff, right? You've gained probably quite a bit of trauma. And that will really hold you back from opening up and really truly connecting with another person and forming that genuine bond. So, here I feel like what you need to heal in order to move forward is your relationship with self, your understanding of self, your feelings. Because once you become more connected and understanding and, you know, compassionate, empathic with yourself, you can then extend those things to others, in turn helping that individual then heal that aspect of themselves, then kind of like pass it along, if that makes sense. It creates this kind of like domino effect, this chain reaction of just like healing going down the line here. All right, well, that is what I have for you today. Thank you for being here. Please, you know, in the comments, let me know if you liked this sort of reading. I've never done it before, so if you'd like to see it again, or if you'd like me to maybe like dig deeper, use some tarot in it, right? Just let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see, if you enjoyed this, if you'd like to see it again, if you have any other ideas of what kind of readings you would see, you would like to see. I plan on doing some pick a card readings, and I will be doing some like, I want to say probably like general readings, like by the sign. I'm really trying to open up and like grow with what I do here. I've only really been doing like general collectives. So, you know, if there's anything you'd like to see, comment down below, let me know. Yeah, help me get this channel out there. Smash that like button. I feel like such a generic YouTuber saying that. That was horrible. Alright, so gonna let you go. Do your thing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. And I do hope that this message has served you well. Do be gentle with yourselves. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye now.